Hi, I'm Kimberly Condict, and I am an actress and a writer and a comedian.
Which came first for you?
I think the thing that my sort of little baby soul came out doing was performing. So
Okay.
definitely, I think acting is the thing is like what my DNA nucleus is made of. But I love writing and I love comedy, and honestly, like to me, they're all very intertwined. Um, and acting and writing, I think, are, it's all storytelling. So it's,
Yeah.
all of it it's just sort of different facets of the same thing, I think.
Were you like I'll relay it to how I grew up. I wanted to be Chris Farley. So that was
Mm.
like my performative energy. I was a shy kid, but then I would, kind of get kind of crazy. So were you the really like pumped up kid in the classroom that just wanted to express yourself performatively
I mean,
or
I wouldn't say that, like, I didn't get in trouble. Like, what I am also at my core is a teacher's pet. My mom is a teacher and my parents were like very traditional, like kind of strict parents. So, like,
yeah.
I was not acting up in school. Like, I was a very good student. I always wanted to get good grades. But definitely, wanted to be like the life of the social party and, friends kind of with everybody. Yeah, so I think I was always like doing jokes and bits and stuff, but like appropriately, I would say, which is such a stupid. Like I wasn't getting, because I feel like some people tell these stories where they're like, "Oh man, I was always
Yeah.
getting in trouble for like being the class clown." Like I was not. I was like a good girl who was also like kind of weird and, do my little bits.
Yeah. It makes me feel a lot better because I was the same way. Like
Okay,
very,
good.
very like I want to follow the rules, but like I kind of want to have fun safely. Is there
Yeah,
a
I was
way?
always having fun. I was always having fun, but I was
Yeah.
always like, it was very important to me that everyone loves me, including the teacher.
So I was I'm sorry. I love that you said that.
Yeah, it's a
Um
wider lens, you know?
yeah, it's like everybody's enjoying this, right? Like we're
Yeah.
not everything's cool.
Yeah, it
Um
was never just for the kids, for sure.
yeah. And it's such a cool way to sort of grow up too when you have that line, but you also want to, like have fun and express yourself. So with your
Yeah,
background
well,
in sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, I think too, this conversation makes me think of an early memory for me is that my dad was like in a corporate job for many, many years, and he
Ooh.
was the vice president of this like oil and gas company in Oklahoma. Um, and we would host these Christmas parties every year since he was like, kind of one of the bigger exec people, I guess. And so I was like little, like 5, 6, 7 years old, and I'm just like roasting my dad's ass to his like employees and his assistants and his secretaries. So like that's also like I very much was aware of like from a very young age, like that got me a lot of attention that I liked. And my parents are just sort of like,
Did they
so
do anything to like funnel that into a direction or
I mean, I think they just were like this. My parents are always like, they're great. They're very
yeah.
accepting. I'm definitely like I call myself a little freak. I'm a little freak in the family. They're kind of more like down to earth. Like my mom is a kindergarten teacher. My dad was an engineer
Hmm.
and now he's retired. But like, my sister and her husband, like lawyers. My sister's getting very into woodworking now, like, good salt of the earth people. So no, it was never like, it was more just like, oh, Kimberly, you rascal. Like that was always the vibe. Like everybody thought I was cute enough to kind of get
Yeah.
away with, my little routine, I think.
Was
I'm
there a
also the
career?
youngest.
You're okay. You know what? That
Yeah.
actually I've heard a lot of older siblings having that energy. I haven't heard so much of the young, which you think like traditionally it's the younger, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
It's
That's funny.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. We're very, in terms of birth order psychology, I feel like my family is very like spot on. Like my sister is the eldest and she was
Yeah.
very much like a great, like straight A student, never got in trouble. My brother was kind of like very different, like hated school, wouldn't do his homework, like, just like it was not his scene. And then I was just like, hello, so it's like, it's exactly what you're saying. Like traditionally, I think you do think of the youngest being the more like spotlight seeking.
And was there any pressure to follow, like become an engineer, become a lawyer from your parents?
No, I mean, listen, they got those math scores.
Oh shit. Okay.
And
That's
I
fair.
mean, I like I was a good student and like I loved English and writing and that, but like math was not for me. So I think they always knew my mother's dream would be if I was like a drama teacher in Oklahoma. Like she would love that because then I would be close and it would be real,
Yeah,
easy and regular and predictable.
that's fair. Like steady
Yeah.
paycheck sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, that's more their world. But
Yeah.
they were always, I think, again, they were always like, my mom loved watching me perform. I was a cheerleader. She loved that. Like, so they were always like, I think they loved the idea of it. They just hated the unpredictability. So I think they were always thinking like, it's so rare from somebody, I think, in the middle of Oklahoma to actually move to LA and stay out here and like grind it out. Because I mean, at least in my case, it's taken, a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that in their minds being again so just down to earth, grounded people, like they figured like, oh, well, she can always do theater or maybe something like teaching so I think they had hoped maybe there would be a more like a safer career plan. But they've always been extremely supportive. So I feel really, really lucky.
I mean, that's fantastic, especially with you moving as far away from home as possible to LA.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean, maybe not when, because it's usually around the same time for a lot of folks, but how did that conversation go when you said, I'm going to go to Los Angeles?
Oh, I was talking about leaving Oklahoma from, I mean,
Okay.
I want to say fourth or fifth grade. Like I was like, this is not for me. Many blessings to you and yours. I'm not meant to be here, folks. And literally my mom was like, oh, Kimberly. But she, again, like I think she knew and like she could see that like one of these things is not like the other. And I think me being born in Oklahoma of all places, because also too, like I'm so liberal. I'm so kooky and
Yeah.
weird and like, I live in West Hollywood for God's sakes and have for 15 years. So it's like I do think it's kind of this hilarious cosmic joke that I was born in this like very sort of agricultural, like football and farming. And I'm like, I don't really follow. I don't get it. you know. So I think they knew that that was an inevitability. And for me, like from the time I could, I was always trying to do like school plays and community theater and all that sort of stuff. So I was talking always about going to New York to do theater, or moving to LA from, a really young
Wow.
age.
Was it sort of a coin flip decision to choose LA over New York?
No, no, it was not. I again I thought forever I thought I would go to New York because I was a theater person and I came from doing again more traditional theater productions like in college and in high school and in Oklahoma City and Norman Community Theater. And so I always thought, going to New York City made sense. And I love Broadway, of course, and I love plays and I love musicals. I love that world so much. I mean, even now, still like going to Broadway in New York City, it's just like, oh, you're just like, at least I am. But I didn't really have like an anchor in New York City in terms of like, I literally didn't know anyone there other than like very distant, maybe sort of former classmates or like,
Mm.
somebody who'd gone to my college, friend of a friend of a friend. So it felt very, very challenging for me to think about like getting housing, figuring out where to stay. And because I was also doing that from Oklahoma and I was like 22, I just graduated college. I went to the University of Oklahoma and I knew I was like gonna get out of there. But so basically that just felt like too challenging for me at that point. And simultaneously, one of my girlfriends was just randomly moving to Denver. And I was like, I'll go to Denver. I've heard they've got good theater. And so I moved to Denver for like
Oh,
9 months. Yeah. And I did a show at the Town Hall Arts Center in Littleton. Um, and I was only there for like a hot minute, but I did a couple of shows and then I was like, okay, I really I gotta get serious about like New York or LA. Like Denver's wonderful, but it's not the thriving cinema metropolis that Los Angeles and New York are, unfortunately. But it is, oh God, it was so beautiful. I love Denver. Um, But anyway, so I moved back to Oklahoma for a hot second, and I still thought, okay, like maybe New York. And then I was like, you know what? I know I'll go to Dallas instead. So I went to Dallas because that's like a city I was very, very familiar with growing up
Okay.
in the town I'm from in Oklahoma. It's like a 3 hour drive. That's where OU
Oh,
Texas is. So like Dallas felt like an easier, and it was like, again, drivable. So I moved there for like a year and a half. I did a bunch of theater there. I got my equity card there. And I still was like, okay, going to New York for sure. Like my aunt, who's wonderful, and she's been like a huge just like, you know, mentor, sort of like, been so like generous with helping me pay for classes and things out here. Like she's just been a huge reason that I was able to, do a lot of the stuff I've done in LA, which is I'm so grateful for. But she was like, girl, you gotta stop skip hopping around now. Like let's get to the main course. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes. And so also around this time, as I was trying to figure this out, I found out about Groundlings, and I did more research about the Groundlings. And I was a huge, and still am, of course, Melissa McCarthy fan.
oh
And
yes.
so,
Yeah.
yes. And so at the time, also my college boyfriend had moved to LA to go to grad school. So
Oh.
there was like, now I had a person who I could like go stay with for a couple weeks. Fine, it turned into 3 months, but yada, yada, yada. Uh, so it just felt like, yeah, I just felt like energetically I was being kind of called to LA. And so I think I thought too, like that's where all roads led to eventually in my mind
Mm.
anyway, because I thought, even doing theater is wonderful, but for me, I always knew I wanted to be on television and do films as well. So I was like, I think it's going to end up in LA anyway. So I feel like maybe it's ironically for me the easier move. And
Yeah.
then yeah, and that was 2009. So I've been out here since 2009.
That's awesome. And I mean, Groundlings, of course, it's one of the most prolific, sort of groups to go into, especially in Los Angeles. I mean, half my friends have auditioned for them. Um, so with you, wanting to join Groundlings and just kind of keep the theater and the comedy going, were
Yeah.
you sort of, I don't know, searching for representation at some point through their showcases, or were you sort of also looking, you know, throughout the day, see if you can submit your headshot to, oh, this agency or that agency.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the get-go, I was just like, I was just always kind of like, I actually have taught improv at the Groundlings as well for a long time. Um,
Oh wow.
and I haven't in a few months just because of work stuff getting busier, which is great. But I love teaching. And one of the things I always like, the analogy I use for my students when I'm like talking about how to find what's funny for the audience is like, I feel like I'm like the T-Rex checking the fence, in Jurassic Park. Like I'm checking for weaknesses, and then anywhere I can find one, I'll exploit it. Um, so yeah, it was it definitely felt like Groundlings was a huge, huge thing. And it definitely was like a community for me. That's where I met most of my friends. And I got a lot of representation through friends I made in those kinds of classes.
Oh,
So
cool.
it was
Okay.
definitely like when I first got here, I was like, I gotta get an agent. I gotta da, da. Which like now that wouldn't be my advice to anybody. My advice would be like, just move here, give yourself like a year to like just be a transplant because LA is a huge city. It can be really overwhelming. I love LA, and God knows, especially with all these things going on right now. I
Yeah.
feel so like so much love for the city, and I hope that we're really able to just come together and, rebuild and all this stuff. And I think we will be able to. But um, yeah, I think that what I did and so many people also do is that they get here and they're like, okay, I gotta just like get a machine gun and take down the doors to Hollywood. It's like, no, they don't care. They will not see you now. Like it's so much better to like, I think, kind of get your bearings. And if this is truly going to be your life, like settle in, because
Yeah.
I think that a career in acting for many, many people, and these are even the people who are the luckier ones, is like more of a freelance kind of gig based career and job. And
Yeah.
so it's like you you may have, months where you don't audition. I mean, for God's sakes, like with COVID, you might have years, and it's like fire. I mean, nothing up is down, down is up, but I think the thing that's most important is that you try to make your life whole. And so it doesn't
Yes.
become this obsessive thing that I think is the reason why so many people quit. And I think is the reason why it really breaks people down. And it's because they give away the joy and the
Mhm.
creativity of the art in pursuit of like trying to just get in the room,
Yeah.
and like and letting other people tell you that you are not talented or not good enough, even just through like no's, or just not getting that audition, not getting that job. It's like you really have to, I think, work a lot on your life
Mhm.
as not just your acting career or your writing career. It's like you are an artist, and
Yeah.
that means like living a really gorgeous, full, beautiful life and then bringing in that life to your art.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my
No, I mean, it's brilliant too, especially when, you can also teach and you write and you have all these other things where if you feel, I don't know, if you feel overwhelmed at not booking, a stretch of time, no, I'll start writing, put your attention elsewhere and just same thing you were saying, keeping your life full. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, with all that said, have you ever had, we've all had bad days as performers. If you have a really, really bad day, like you had a callback that was 2 hours long and then it just nothing happened. What's your way of sort of disassociating from that mindset and kind of I guess refeeding your soul with something else?
Yeah, well, again, it's like I've been doing this a long time and I definitely I'm not going to sit here and say like, these things don't get to me or whatever. Cause sure, there's some days when it's
Yeah.
like some sting a little more than others for sure. But I try to just I have a little, this is so stupid, but I'm going to tell you this.
Oh,
But
I'm excited.
I have a little mantra, which is keep it moving, be optimistic. Just keep it moving, be optimistic because, for me, the callback hopefully it's fun, and hopefully you're at least getting to have some time of play. But like, sometimes they're just weird. Sometimes directors are awkward. Sometimes the casting people the energy is strange. I mean, and I think that's why it's the older I get and the longer I'm sort of in this is like, I really think it's so much about, again, almost just creating these routines for yourself that it's like, not creating unhealthy highs and lows. So it's like, oh God, just like white knuckling, your gum, like gnashing your teeth, like bleeding eyes, and you're just like, if I don't book this, it's like, babe, you're not gonna book
Nope.
that, because that energy is so palpable, and that kind of desperate, like, nobody responds to that. Nobody is attracted to that. We see it in any situation in life. It's like you can feel when somebody's like pushing for something, you're like, are you okay? Like, girl, relax, you know?
Take a
And
breath.
it's yeah, and it's the people who walk in and they're like, look, I mean, truly what I say out loud, because again, I'm a big believer in like, if you can't tell, I'm a big believer in like manifesting and positive affirmations and all this stuff. Cause for me personally, like that and physical exercise are
Mm,
really, really helpful for me as part of just like a wellness
yeah.
practice. Um, and again, I think that's really important for actors for our emotional, mental, and physical health. Cause, I mean, really we use ourselves, and it's every part of us.
Yeah.
Um, but sorry, that got me sidetracked.
No, no, I love
Talking about
it.
physical exercise, getting so
Physical
passionate.
exercise, well-being, sweating is good.
Oh, yes, yes, but like the hard day of it all.
Yes. Yeah.
I really try again to, and this is an ongoing practice. I certainly don't in any way proclaim to have this mastered, but I really do try to let it go as much as I can. Like the second I leave, I really try to leave it at the door, leave it in the room, because my way of thinking is that it just doesn't change anything. I am a person who has anxiety like sorry to brag, medical grade. Beyond that sexy Lexapro. So I'm just like, for me, anything I can do to just say, like, you know what, I did my best. There's quite literally nothing else for my brain to do. So yeah, like what else can I go take a walk with my dogs? Can I go,
Yeah.
maybe go have dinner with a friend or, just something to get your brain focused on different things in your life that bring you joy, I think.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I think thankfully after COVID, more people are doing that. But man, before then, I you'd have actor friends who would come back just high strung. I need to get this Michelin tire commercial. I need to do it.
Oh God, I know. I know. And all the time I say to myself, I really will. I'll be like, Kimberly, like zoom out.
Yeah.
Zoom out, girl. Like you're gonna get the next Michelin tire commercial, there'll be another one. And I do think there is something like, again, universal about that energy of sort of just like, what's meant for me will find me and
Yeah.
the rest is for somebody else. And that's great too, because it means somebody else got a job. And I love that.
Yeah, you know what? It's a God, that is such a great line of thinking. I feel like I've had a few conversations the last year as well of folks looking at it from that perspective. Out of everybody, I hope one of my friends gets it or somebody that, you
That's the
know,
dream.
that needs it. That's the whole part of this communal performance.
And I
It's
mean, like,
just
what actor doesn't need it?
right. Yeah.
Like, we all need
Like I
it.
love dry tuna as much as the next person
Yeah.
eating it out of the bag,
Oh
but
God, I'd love to afford some mayonnaise though. Oh man.
like black pepper, that's a commodity.
Oh, don't
Um,
even get me started on the fresh crack.
fresh crack. Just love a nice fresh bowl of crack. Farm to
No, a
table.
fresh cracked ground pepper. I
Oh,
meant
I
like
thought
a
you were
fresh.
doing a bit.
No, I meant like
Hmm.
yeah, at a fancy restaurant when they come over with the pepper
Yeah.
jar.
No, that's what
But
I was
also,
picking up.
no judgment. I know the crack scene is huge in Colorado. Very
Oh,
cool stuff.
it's amazing. It's, God, I'm keeping this all in. Yeah, I mean, surprisingly enough, Colorado's been it's now a time where you can live outside of Los Angeles. But
Yeah.
God, do I wish I had moved out there, right out of college
Oh,
and build some kind of I don't know, some roots, some foundations there. But it seems like through everything that's been happening in the last few years, COVID, the strikes, and now the fires, like you guys are
it's
closer
wild.
than ever.
It's so, so, so wild and insane. The like, just like brrr of succession of like individual events that would be in and of themselves like devastating for the industry. But
Yeah.
then it's like, my hope is like, okay, and the third one is done. We have closed the whatever the curse has been lifted. Maybe, there's been enough done that now we can move freely forward in 2025 and hopefully nothing else, knock
Yeah.
on wood. But yeah, I feel like wildly, wildly, wildly lucky because I just so happened to book a couple of things timing wise, like during these bizarre, like during COVID, I happened to literally a commercial I had shot like I think in either 2019 or maybe even 2018. They decided basically to do like a sequel to that commercial with like all the same cast and called us up and were like, "Hey, are you free?" in like June
Holy
2020 and I was
shit.
like, "Yeah, I'm very free." I'm very, very, very free and desperately would love money. Um, so, I feel like I just really lucked out in a
Yeah.
couple of ways but I mean, oh my God, it's horrible. I mean, you hear it from everybody you talk to out here. It's like, and I mean, it's really the fires are so sad and so devastating. And I think too, what's so weird right now is like we just don't even really know kind of the trickle down effect that this will have. It's like,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's so major that I think it's really hard for everybody to wrap their minds around still. So I think that, it'll be, I don't know if it'll affect like shooting schedules and things like that, but I mean, it very well could, I mean, so many people have lost just unimaginable amounts of their lives, it's just, ugh,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't
It's
mean to.
no, like you said, it's devastating and more than just, people are seeing the whole like, oh, it's millionaires and folks who have lost homes and no, LA is a humongous place. I mean, it's
Well, and also like there are people too, like,
yeah,
like
the
I get it.
comments you see.
I mean, yeah, it's like I get it that like rich people, we don't feel as nearly as sorry for the rich people as we do the poor people. And like, girl, same, but like I'm
Yeah.
like, we don't need to drag these people. Like this is horrible, you know? It's
Yeah.
like no matter what, these people have lost everything, you know? So I think it is like, yeah, just people trying to kind of put one foot
Mhm.
in front of the other, you know. But I do think it'll be interesting to see what the effects are in terms of the industry and if it does kind of I saw something saw an article, I don't remember what it was, but it was in print. Okay, you can trust that. No need to fact check. Um but they were saying it was sort of just speculating on whether they thought this might mean, more things, even more things moving out of LA and shooting in, Canada or
Oh man, Europe.
wherever else. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it was already tough. It's so expensive, I think, a lot of the time to shoot things here. So
Yeah.
it's also up in the air.
Well, and it's I don't know, outside of just the community aspect of it, it seems like a great time to talk about things with people, continue your therapy and, keep working on that
Yeah.
part of yourself. Don't let that go, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's like what we were saying earlier, like the community is
Yeah.
like really the thing, and it's like
Yeah.
people love to talk shit about LA, but like I love LA. I feel like people here are genuine. I feel like people are kind. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, if you engage with people, they engage with you, and it's like it's very different than where I grew up, but I don't think it means people are unkind or uncaring. I think it's just it's hard to live in a city, and I think
Yeah.
people just are like, I'm trying not to breathe all the smog and like I'm just trying now, like air quality index is just I mean,
Oh, it's terrible.
I know. We got to go to Denver. Honestly, that when I like moved to Denver and I like drove my like, 1994 Camry or whatever the hell I had at that point. It's like my mom's old car. By the way, shout out to the Toyota Camry. I mean, an absolute best in class. She lasted so long. Um, but I feel like I like put the car in park in the city of Denver and opened the door and like took a deep breath and my lungs absolutely like burned with the clearest air that they've ever experienced. Like they were like, we've never tasted anything this pure. You know what I mean? It's different. It's like the
Yeah.
elevation and yeah. Is
It's
that where you're at in Colorado?
I lived in Denver when I was in college, but now I'm
Nice.
further north
Okay.
and away, close enough to where you can get the airport in the city, but enough where you can just take the dog we took the dog for a walk today and it was delightful, how quiet and like crisp the air was. It was just
That's really
fantastic. Yeah,
cool.
come back to Colorado.
Okay.
There's
Right.
all this work in New Mexico. Just it's a 6 hour drive. Just
And let me tell you something. I love Mexico. I love New Mexico. It is so
those are
beautiful
wonderful.
there. I mean, I've only been to Santa Fe and Albuquerque a couple of times, but I'm like, okay, well, we can move Hollywood there if we're all going. Although I don't want to. I love LA.
It's like keep a house in LA. Keep a small condo in Los Angeles,
You know
and
what?
then
I'm going to
get a house elsewhere.
diversify my real estate. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I mean, the prices in Denver right now, you can move here. Just get a tough shed with a really good lock and put it on a block somewhere. And that's
Perfect.
most
Perfect.
yeah, the most affordable real estate by far.
Great.
Um, I am curious as we're because I know we're running low on time. I want to hear if you have an LA story. Usually we do like a party story for each episode, something that really stands out. But I want to see if you have a story that's just so categorically Los Angeles that you could
I
share.
think I think I got one for you from literally today.
Oh
Okay.
shit. Okay.
So, oh shit, it's going down. No, no,
It's
no, no,
on.
no. Temper those expectations, baby. Temper those expectations. Um, so Jay-Z and Beyonce and I are French kissing. No, okay, so
Sorry, that
um,
image was fantastic.
it was a three-way kiss. It was hot. It was hot. No. They're a little embroiled right now. We shouldn't go there. Okay, so no, but I was at the gym this morning. Okay. Sorry to brag, but it's true. I was. And Jeff Goldblum goes to my gym. What you need to understand, I don't go to a fancy gym. Okay. I go to a regular schmegular lady gym. It's not sorry, not a lady gym. I go to just a regular person gym. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
But it's co-ed. But I have gone to this gym like off and on for literally 12 years. Okay. And I have seen Jeff Goldblum a sighting over the years. You never know when he's going to pop up. All
Yeah.
right. You never know. But he just shows up in the gym and he does the same thing every time, which is that he comes in a full outfit that is not at all gym appropriate. Okay. Today, when I saw this man at the gym at 8:45 this morning, he had on a full denim ensemble. Okay. He was wearing dark wash denim cuffed jeans with a leather loafer. I got a good look at him. I looked at him for a long time. And he was wearing a matching, like boxy, dark denim jacket. And he was doing the elliptical. And that's what he does. And then and that's every time I've seen him, and it's been 3 or 4 times, full casual outfit,
Yeah.
like as if you were going somewhere kind of nice for lunch, but not too fancy. But instead, you know what? Let me get my quick 5. Let me get my quick 10 on the elliptical. And I'm not joking. I think he comes there to kind of like look out for ladies. I
Really?
think that's what.
I love the idea of Jeff Goldblum just being so busy. He's like, I'm gonna go 5 minutes.
I think he's just so Jeff Goldblum
Yeah.
that he's like, maybe I'll go to the gym. And then he just goes. And maybe it's for 5 minutes, maybe it's for 45. But babe, he's not changing. And he's certainly not exerting himself to even draw one
Oh,
beat of sweat.
really?
Oh no, it's a very,
It's a very
it's,
watchful
he's
pace.
peacocking. He's peacocking.
Like, oh, what's over here? Like,
Yeah. And I think he likes for people to see that's him.
I
I love
that honestly, that was better than any expectations I had previously about the story.
it. Just to me, what I love about it is that I think it really illustrates that Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum
Yeah,
all the time. And I
it's not
love
an act.
no, that's who he is. And I love it. Isn't it good?
I I'm gonna be dreaming about that.
I know. I wish it's like if I was a better artist, I'd sketch it for you.
Right.
But he looked cute. He looked cute.
I mean, next time he's there, you have to let me know what he's wearing.
I guarantee you, every time I've seen him, it's been like I'm saying, like if you worked at a casual office and
Yeah,
and you were like, say you worked at an advertising agency, and you're
yeah.
like, oh, that's Jeff. He does the mock-ups, and he comes in and he's like in his cool denim outfit, and you're like, oh God, he gets his raw denim in Venice. He goes to this there's a shop there where you can go and they fly it in from Italy. He gets it tailored and it's
Yeah.
incredible. Anyway, and that's Jeff Goldblum.
I I'm like I can't. I'm sorry. I love talking to you. I can't wait for the 4 minutes to be up so I can tell my girlfriend about it because we are Goldblum obsessives.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh, I
that
love
is, I have his Jurassic. It's gonna sound really creepy.
that.
Really
The
quick.
photo from Jurassic Park.
I have the shower curtain of him from Jurassic Park that a patron regular at a bar that I worked at gave me like 5 years ago. It comes with me everywhere. Um, so that
Good
is
for
a
you.
perfect story.
Good.
As we're closing in here, I wanted to see if there's anything that I can give a shout out to or promote with your episode. It could be a project you're working on, something you really enjoy doing, or just like charity, an organization, something you really want to give a shout out to.
Oh, sure. I mean, gosh, right now, obviously, all I'm thinking about is these LA wildfires. Unfortunately, I don't have like anything offhand, but I know the Pasadena Humane Society was taking donations. But I think kind of if just anybody has any, time, money, or goods to donate, you can, I think, kind of just do a loose Google search and, Pacific Palisades fires donation or, Eaton fire donation, Pasadena fire donation, things like that. A lot of people, I know people personally who've lost homes, and I think everybody at this point knows, unfortunately, multiple people in that situation. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, just anything we can do, even if it's truly just like, sending some good energy, sending, a little thought, little prayer, little whatever you can spare, because it does all make a difference. And I think, it feels like the world is watching, and I think it feels like the world is sending us love. So I think that's nice, but hopefully it just
Yeah.
can get cleaned up soon.
Oh, that's perfect. No, I appreciate that. And luckily there are so many organizations, it's hard to kind of pinpoint, you know,
Yeah, I
like
know. I'm
top
sorry. I wish I
five.
had a
No, no,
list,
no.
but I
Well, this I feel like this has been a great first try at the 35-minute interview. This was a
for me, no
blast.
notes.
I have one last thing we do for every episode.
Oh,
It's called
yes.
an awkward goodbye.
Oh,
So if whenever you're ready, if you can give us your best verbal and visual awkward goodbye, I'll stop the recording from there. Does that sound good?